Welcome to our exploration of the 97% consensus myth. Is climate science really settled? In this video, we will dive deep into the origins of the widely cited 97% figure and uncover how it has been misrepresented and misconstrued within the broader climate science debate. We'll examine various facets, including surveys, limitations, and the nuanced views held by scientists, while also addressing the implications of excluding dissenting opinions. As we navigate through the complexities of consensus versus scientific method, we aim to clarify the often vague definitions of consensus and highlight how media amplification shapes public perception. Join us as we unpack the discrepancies in consensus studies and their significant impact on the ongoing public discussion surrounding climate science. 1. Origin of the 97% figure. The widely quoted 97% consensus on climate change originates from a 2013 study by John Cook and colleagues. They analyzed thousands of climate science papers to arrive at this figure. Critics of the study argue that its methodology was flawed. For instance, papers were often categorized as agreeing with the consensus on climate change even if they did not explicitly endorse it. This approach has led some to question the reliability of the 97% statistic. In essence, the study's interpretation could have painted a more unanimous picture than what actually exists within the scientific community. 2. Misrepresentation of the study's scope. The Cook study did not solely focus on the causes of climate change. Instead, it included papers that delved into climate impacts or mitigation strategies. This broad inclusion may have inflated the percentage of agreement by lumping together various aspects of climate research. By doing so, the study might have inadvertently broadened the scope beyond the core question of whether human activity is the primary cause of climate change. This has led to concerns about the accuracy of the consensus figure, as not all included works directly addressed the central issue. 3. Survey limitations. Other studies supporting the consensus are often founded on surveys of scientists. However, these surveys frequently had small sample sizes or posed vague questions, which raises concerns about the reliability of their results. The limited scope of these surveys has led to questions about their representativeness. When surveys lack depth or clarity, the results can be misleading. This means that while surveys may show a broad agreement, the nuances of individual viewpoints might be lost in translation. 4. Nuanced views within climate science. There is a broad agreement that the climate is changing and that human activity plays a role. However, the extent of human influence, the severity of impacts, and the best solutions remain hotly debated topics. Within the scientific community, there are diverse viewpoints on these matters. While consensus exists on some foundational aspects, the details are far from settled. This ongoing debate underscores the complexity of climate science, where one-size-fits-all conclusions are rare. 5. Exclusion of dissenting scientists. Scientists who challenge mainstream climate science often face professional ostracization. This exclusion leads to concerns that dissenting voices are being sidelined, skewing perceptions of consensus. When alternative viewpoints are not given a platform, it creates a misleading image of unanimous agreement. This has implications for the scientific community, where open debate and diverse perspectives are crucial for advancement. Without room for dissent, the field risks stagnation and groupthink. 6. Consensus versus scientific method. Science thrives on evidence and reproducibility, not consensus. Critics argue that emphasizing a 97% consensus undermines the scientific process by discouraging debate and inquiry. The scientific method is about challenging existing ideas and testing them rigorously. By focusing on consensus, there's a risk of sidelining evidence-based discourse. This could deter researchers from exploring novel ideas or questioning established norms, which is vital for scientific progress. 7. Vague definitions of consensus. The term consensus often refers to the broad idea that humans contribute to global warming. Yet, it does not specify the magnitude, risks, or urgency of the issue. This vagueness allows for broad interpretation and misuse of the statistic. When terms are not clearly defined, it opens the door to varied interpretations, which can be misleading. This lack of precision can result in oversimplified narratives that fail to capture the full scope of the issue. 8. Public perception and media amplification. The 97% figure has been widely promoted by media outlets, policymakers, and activists to bolster support for climate action. However, this oversimplification risks reducing a complex issue to a soundbite. Media amplification often focuses on catchy statistics without delving into the nuances. This can shape public perception in ways that might not reflect the full reality. Such oversimplifications can hinder informed debate and understanding. 9. Discrepancies in consensus studies. Not all studies on climate consensus arrive at the same conclusion. Some studies find lower levels of agreement, depending on how consensus is defined and what criteria are used for inclusion. These discrepancies highlight the challenges of defining and measuring consensus. Different methodologies and criteria can lead to varied outcomes. This variability underscores the complexity of reaching a true consensus in climate science. 10. Impact on public debate. The 97% statistic is often used as a rhetorical device to dismiss skepticism or alternative viewpoints. This can stifle meaningful discussion about uncertainties, policy approaches, and the nuances of climate science. When statistics are used to silence dissent, they can hinder constructive dialogue. Engaging with diverse perspectives is crucial for developing well-rounded solutions. Without open debate, the path forward may be less informed and effective.